What's going on, champs and champions? It's FireMonkey here, and today's going to be a little bit more of a serious video because we have to talk about the David situation. For those who don't know about the David situation, aka D4vd, it's a situation where an artist who has emotes and jam tracks in the game and actually made a Fortnite anthem called Locked and Loaded for one of the previous FNCS events, who was speculated to even get like a whole entire artist skin in the game. You know, a lot of people thought he was going to be the next music pass, and then we ended up getting the mixtape pass. Had a lot of stuff happen. I'm not for sure what I can even say on YouTube, so what I will say is go research it on your own, right? It is a crazy situation. My heart goes out to Celeste and all the people involved with all of that who have to deal with loss and everything, but I think just saying that gives you guys an idea of what's actually been going on. But a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen to like the emotes or the jam tracks, because some people out there want their emotes and jam tracks for some reason to be rare things that never return. They want to flex it for some reason. I'm not really for sure why you would want to flex that type of emote, but it's still something where some people, even if they don't want to flex it, have sentimental value to it in a way because of the fact that things like the Fill It emote came mainly from a collaboration David did with Invincible, and not so much, you know, the fact that it's David music, right? You know, there's a little bit more to it to some people, so I guess regardless if you want to keep it or not, you know, that's completely up to you. It's something that you've been able to debate or whatever, but people are wondering, due to all the stuff that's come out about David and due to the ongoing court case and everything, which I think there's like a hearing soon in early May or something, people want to get rid of the emote. They don't want to support what the artist has made. They don't want to deal with anything related to that person being in their locker. So they were wondering, because of the situation, will Epic Games be allowing people to get refunds? And the official Fortnite status account actually made a post just the other day at 10:27 p.m. Eastern time, which I'll go ahead and read out verbatim, and then I'll go ahead and kind of break it down a little bit for you guys. They stated, in response to the David situation, "We hear the concerns. We have a bunch of changes we're rolling out over time. The first one will be available Tuesday, April 28th, when anyone who purchased one of these items will be able to get an immediate self-service refund, meaning you'll be able to go in-game without spending like a whole entire refund token or anything like that, and just decide you can refund the cosmetics, right? You don't have to keep it. You can just get rid of them as they are and not have to have the David cosmetics in your locker," which is pretty interesting to see, because when we've seen like these self-service refunds in the past for Epic Games, it's been for stuff that was recently released, right? It's never really been a situation where it's been for a cosmetic that I think we've had in the game since like 2024, right? We've had it in here for a decent amount of time, so it's like one of the oldest cosmetics to actually get the self-service refund feature actually implemented into it. And I think that's pretty interesting because, you know, it means if you're someone who had the cosmetics for a long time and you want to get rid of it, you can get rid of it. However, they do go on to mention that as of right now, players who request refunds for David's cosmetics via player support can be refunded. Now, there's a little bit of some, you know, nuances and stuff to talk about the whole entire player support refunds. Firstly, some people are scared of going through player support because they're worried about getting their account potentially banned or anything, whether it's for doing things that might break TOS. You know, I'm not really going to say what any of those could be because I'm not really for sure, other than maybe like Discord bots or something. I don't know. But for those who have contacted support, they've had a few different results. Some people have been told, hey, you can't get a refund, just use a refund ticket in game. Others have gotten a refund, and in cases where people bought an entire bundle, it's been a mixed bag. Because if you guys remember, the FNCS like Axe of Champions pickaxe was in a bundle with a skin, it had a back bling, it had the jam track, it might have even had an emote, I'm not for sure, but it had a lot of cosmetics actually a part of it. If you're someone who bought that bundle and you go through support, there's a chance that the entire bundle could be refunded from you because the emote was part, or I guess the emote or jam track or whatever you purchased was part of that mega bundle. However, there's also been cases where people have mentioned that they have contacted support and they only got the emote or jam track removed from their account. However, they got the full bundle refund. So they kept, like, you know, the skin, the pickaxes and everything else, and they basically got it entirely for free because it only ever refunded the jam track while giving them the full purchase money back. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. You might have good luck with it, you might not have good luck. It's up to you if you want to do it. However, if you bought the jam track on its own, you'll get it instantly refunded and you don't have to worry about any other cosmetics getting refunded on top of it. Now, another thing to mention, however, is if you refund the emote from your locker or refund a jam track from your locker and it was gifted to you by someone else, the person who gifted you will get the refund. So it's not a situation where you will get a refund for something someone else bought. It will be the person who bought it for you that will randomly see V-Bucks added to their account, while you'll see the emote or jam track or whatever was removed from you. So it is a interesting situation where, depending on how you go about the refund and depending how humble support is, it could go in a million different ways. You could get the emote removed, but the gifter gets a refund. Somehow you could get a refund and the gifter gets a refund. I think I heard like one report of that, which sounds a little rare. You could have a whole entire bundle removed, or you could just have the jam track or emote or whatever removed while getting a whole entire bundle refund and keeping the bundle cosmetics. So it's up to you if you want to contact support. However, starting on 28th with the V40.30 downtime update, everyone will be able to refund the cosmetics in-game without spending any refund tokens or anything like that. And then they go on to mention, of course, that there will be more changes that they plan later down the line. Now this makes me wonder, what could the more changes be? Well, my theory is going to be similar to like the Peacemaker situation, where instead of changing the emote animation, if you decide to keep like the fillet emote, for example, Epic Games will either mute the audio to remove David entirely from it, or they will replace it with completely new audio in the emote. Maybe they turn it into like a Fortnite original emote track or something like that. Now that would be a little bit disappointing for some people who want to keep it because of it being from Invincible. I personally haven't really kept up with Invincible. I watched like half of the first season or whatever, so I don't really have an opinion on that part of it. But regardless, they could potentially be making those changes in the future. Now, most likely the jam tracks, you're not really going to be able to change those, right? Unless Fortnite does their own original remix, removing and replacing the David vocals with like the choral buddies singing it or something. I think the jam tracks are the most likely thing to just get permanently removed and refunded from everyone in the game. But as of right now, no one's getting the cosmetics instantly removed from their account. Instead, it will be a gradual thing over time where Epic Games will make changes to those cosmetics. Maybe by talking about these changes, one of the things they're mentioning is the fact that in the future they're going to be allowing people to refund any cosmetic they don't want from Icon Series stuff in case some Icon Series controversy happens, without needing to wait for Epic Games to make a statement or Epic Games to make changes themselves. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this situation? However, will you be keeping, actually, you know what, I don't tell me if you're keeping the emote or something. Keep that to yourself. I don't even want to know that part. Just let me know what you think about the whole response Epic Games has to the David situation. Most likely, I'm going to be refunding mine, right? You know, I don't really care about the jam tracks and emotes that much. I think I'd rather just take the V-Bucks and buy like Mordecai and Rigby or something, right? That sounds more interesting to me than the David emotes. Until next time, however, I'll catch you champs and champets a little bit later with another upload, so like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and definitely make sure to research everything going on with the David situation in your own time, because, you know, I'm not for sure what I'm able to say in a YouTube video when it's a Fortnite news topic. Until next time, however, peace out.